Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Shantae and this is Booked with Shantae. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my February TBRs, so let's go ahead and get into it. In this video, I'm going to be talking about books I'm currently reading and books I plan to read this month. So to start us off, I have already read 2 books this month. First book I started the month off with was Hide by Tracy Clark, and I actually DNF'd this book, you guys, and I was so disappointed to have to DNF. I DNF'd at 47%. I really wanted to push through and finish, especially since I was pretty much halfway through the book, but I knew I had other books I wanted to read this month, and I was just so excited to get to those books. I didn't want to waste time reading something that I wasn't thoroughly enjoying. So this book follows a Black female detective as she is working a case regarding a serial killer in the city of Chicago. That's really what drew me to the book, the fact that it takes place in Chicago. It just fell flat for me. It was not enjoyable. It was pretty slow. So I had to put it down. So that's the first book I started the month off with. So not a real good start to the month. The second book I read in January was called Accidentally Yours, and this book was really short. It was less than 100 pages. I listened to it on audio while I worked, so the audio was about an hour and a half long. But this book was about a woman who accidentally logged into the wrong Zoom call meeting at work, and she ultimately gets offered a job by this company that she logged into their Zoom meeting on. And then things kind of unfold from there. I don't want to give too much away. Again, it was a short story. This is a romance book, so you can kind of put 2 and 2 together to figure out what the premise might be behind that. But it was real cute, real quick, and lighthearted, and something good. I had been reading a lot of like thrillers and things like that, so this was just something good to kind of clean my palette with. All right, now moving on to the books I am currently reading and hoping to get to this month. One of the books I'm currently reading is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. And this one has taken me a minute to get through. It is Monday now. I think I started this last Monday or maybe even last Sunday. And that's because I'm actually reading the physical copy of this. I'm not listening to it on audio or anything while I read it. And this is kind of a big book. It says 388 pages. 389 pages. So this is a lengthy one. I am almost done. I am at page 309. So I should be done with this today, hopefully. So the reason behind me picking this book up was strictly because of the plot. It sounded really, really interesting. I am trying to get in the habit of not reading so much of a summary before I pick up a book. I just don't want to have high hopes or high expectations for something and then it turns into something else. So just a real quick summary that I pulled off of Google because I feel like it just gives a little bit. It don't give like the full summary. So The Vanishing Half is about identical twin sisters who grow up in a light-skinned Black community in the South, but choose vastly different paths as adults. One sister secretly passes as white, while the other lives as a Black woman, exploring themes of racial identity, passing, family, and the lasting impacts of choices across generations as their daughters' lives eventually intertwine. Now that I'm almost done with the book, that's literally what it's about. So I don't want to give too much detail or go into my thoughts on the book so far. I will save that for my later video this month. The next book I am reading is By the Book by Jasmine Guillory. And I actually started this, I want to say 2 days ago, and I have the physical copy of this as well. But ironically, I am pretty much strictly listening to this on audio. And that is why I started this book while still reading The Vanishing Half, because The Vanishing Half is taking me a long time to get through. And I like reading books that I can also listen to on audio because I can listen to it while I work, while I drive, while I do anything. It's really, really hard for me to only read a book because I have limited time of when I'm actually just sitting and focused just on a book. So it's much more convenient for me to also have the option to listen. So I figured I would go ahead and start this book while I'm still reading The Vanishing Half. It's different genres, so when I do read 2 books, I like to make sure that the genres aren't the same, just so I'm getting 2 different experiences. So what really drew me to this book was, first of all, it's Valentine's Day. I'm learning I'm not much of a romance genre girl. But with it being February, I was like, okay, like we'll sprinkle a little bit of that in there. That is really what pulled me to start this book this month. Just reading a little blurb from Google. This is a modern Beauty and the Beast inspired romance novel about a young Black editorial assistant, Izzy, who gets a chance to advance her career by coaxing a reclusive beastly author, Bo Towers, to finish his manuscript. The story follows their developing relationship as she stays at his mansion to help him, leading to witty banter, slow burn tension, and an exploration of their personal struggles. It's part of the Meant to Be series, known for fairy tale retellings. This is the second book in the Meant to Be series. I haven't read any of the other books. I'm assuming they don't really have anything to do with each other since it says it's just fairy tale retelling. So this is just a good, cute little romance to read leading up to Valentine's Day. Okay, so now getting into the books that I have not yet touched. I don't even have them downloaded. I don't have the physical copies or anything. These are just my hopefuls and my plans for the month. First one is This Side of Beautiful by Ty. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. I was drawn to this book just strictly off of the storyline. I'm interested to see how the romance is in this book, but the storyline itself sounded good enough to lure me in. It's a contemporary romance novel about a former music star, Janae, who returns to the industry after a public downfall, and Landon, a quiet guitarist, who help each other heal from past traumas like bipolar disorder, addiction, and abuse as they fall in love. The book explores themes of mental health, healing, and self-acceptance through the relationship between the two scarred performers. So that ending of the summary alone was like enough for me to want to read this book, because I feel like it's going to be more of like a realistic romance versus like the fluffy, like everything is perfect. So I'm really excited to read this. This is another big book. I believe it's like 400 something pages. So I will be also listening to this on audio, just so I can keep going, because if I had to just read this with no audio, it would take me forever to finish. But I'm really excited. It sounds like a really interesting storyline that'll keep my interest. And then the last book that I am planning to get to in February is All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. I had to get me like a thriller crime book in there. And of course, he's a Black author, so I figured picking one of his books would be perfect. So this book is about the first Black sheriff in a small Virginia county who hunts a serial killer preying on his community while confronting deep-seated racism, religious extremism, and his own past. This sounds really, really good, and obviously it sounds right up my alley. If you guys saw my January wrap-up video, you know I read Razorblade Tears by him, and that was my first S.A. Cosby book. So I have high expectations. I doubt that I'll be let down. So really excited to get into this one as well. So that is it for the books that I plan to read in the month of February. If you guys have read any of the books I mentioned in this video, be sure to leave a comment down below letting me know your thoughts on the video, and also let me know what you have planned to read in the month of February as well. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss more bookish chats, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.